Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about better understanding the law of attraction so you can get the results you want in life. You know, there's a lot of talk about the law of attraction. Many people shun it and say, oh, it doesn't work, or it didn't work for me. But the reality is, it's like the person who, I've had people tell me, well, I tried affirmations, they don't work for me, not realizing that that statement alone is an affirmation. It's just an affirmation against themselves. They're affirming and decreeing that affirmations don't work for them. So consequently, they don't get affirmations working for them. The law of attraction is like that too. People will say, well, it didn't work for me. You know, I tried and I visualized and believed and nothing happened. And they're imagining something is just supposed to come into their lives overnight. They're supposed to have millions of dollars and Ferraris and mansions. Meanwhile, one of the most fundamental parts of the law of attraction is the action part. It's the law of attraction. Action's hidden in that word, attraction. You have to do things, not just the visualization, not just affirmations and believing. Those are all good things. But very often along with the attraction is an impulse, an intuition, a guiding of the Spirit to do a certain thing, to call someone, to go to a certain place, to shop somewhere, whatever. Things that don't have to make any sense in relation to that thing you're desiring to attract into your life. And yet that's the exact thing you need to do in order to receive it. And receiving is many times left out because it's the action that really is the hindering point, the bottleneck, so to speak, for many people. Because the reception of the thing that you want is rooted in action. You have to do something. If I give you a present and it's wrapped up and it's got a bow on it, you have to unwrap it to get to the present. Now you got the present, I gave it to you, but you haven't fully received it until you've opened it and looked inside at the gift I've given you. Many people are just wanting an angel to float down out of heaven and give them keys to their new car and their new house, and they don't have to do anything. They don't have to lift a finger. Listen, there's nothing been in God's entire universe set up that way to where you're rewarded for your indolence. If you refuse to work, you're not rewarded for it. Matter of fact, the scripture says, if a man will not work, he shall not eat. That's how stringent the requirements are that you take action in life. Now, if you can't work or you don't even know what to do, that's a different issue. God will meet you where you are and He'll help you and He'll give you grace in your time of need. But even in that situation, once you do know what to do, once God's giving you that wisdom, you have to act. And the most fundamental thing I see that people do that makes the law of attraction not work for them, it makes it work against them, is they don't believe it. They simply go around not believing it and then act as if they're somehow shocked that it didn't work for them. Meanwhile, they didn't do everything need to be done. They refused to do part of it. They didn't want to receive. They wanted it forced upon them, and that to be receiving. But you ask, you believe in your heart when you ask, and you'll receive. And the reception still requires action on your part. Now, none of this is difficult. I'm not telling you have to go, well, if you want to receive $1 million, you got to go work 100-hour weeks, and you got to do all this and really stress yourself out and whatever. I'm not saying any of that. You should work hard, but it should be because of your heart being pure and you're doing your work unto the Lord. So you do your all, you give your all, you really are legitimately trying to do your best. And so you work hard and you work intelligently. You don't work hard just for the sake of it. If you can do something in an easier manner, using automation or other people or whatever the case may be, then you do that. You work intelligently, you work smarter and harder. But none of this has to be difficult for you. None of this has to be a burden. Matter of fact, it's not a burden. It should be relieving a burden. Jesus said His yoke was easy, His burden was light. If you feel like you're carrying the world on your shoulder, you're carrying so much weight and so much heaviness, then follow the scripture and Cast your care upon him, upon the Lord, for he careth for you. Stop carrying stuff you don't need to carry. Stop making the law of attraction more difficult than it needs to be. Stop purposely setting up roadblocks to prevent yourself from receiving the things you want because you're not taking action. Take action that you know to take. And it could be something simple. Like I said, it could be going to a different store. It could be driving a different way to work. It could be calling a friend you haven't talked to in a year. It doesn't matter what it is. There's something that wells up in your spirit that you know you should do, and it might seem 100% unrelated to the end goal you have in mind to receive via the law of attraction. It doesn't matter. You don't have to know how you're going to get to that point. That is another way people hinder themselves, is they try to figure out how, or worse yet, they try to restrict the receiving of the thing to only be in a certain way, thus greatly expanding the amount of time needed to receive, or making it impossible. Not because with God it's impossible, because you set up all these little barriers and obstacles and, well, my friend over here has to give me the money, or it has to be the President of the United States. I mean, you're just setting up ridiculous things to make it almost virtually impossible for yourself, because you can never believe for that to actually happen. You'll never have the belief and hold yourself in fullness of confidence and faith in God for that, and so you won't receive. So let go of all that. Cast your care upon him. Stop worrying about how it's going to happen. You don't have to worry about that. That's not your obligation. You just believe. You ask, you believe, and you receive. That's simple. And you stay firm in your belief. Remember, Jesus said, when you pray, you believe that you've received when you prayed, and you shall have whatsoever you say. So when you pray, you're praying full of faith. You're not doubting. You're not wavering. You believe that you received when you prayed, which would mean if you're praying the same prayer for weeks in a row, you didn't believe that first time. You probably didn't believe the last time either. Because you wouldn't keep praying for the same thing if you already believed you received. Wouldn't you be in a state of gratitude and thankfulness and thanksgiving and praise to God for the thing that you believed you received when you prayed for? But you don't really believe if you keep on praying it over and over and over again. That's a faithless prayer. That's a prayer of doubt and unbelief. That's a prayer that's almost like a lottery chance. Like, well, if I keep praying, maybe this, I'll say it just right, or God will hear me at a certain angle and it'll be better this time and now I'll receive. No, you believe when you pray that you received, and you'll have whatsoever you say. So make the law of attraction work for you. Stop worrying about how it's going to happen. Stop placing unneeded obstacles in your way, in your own way, not other people's way. You shouldn't be placing in other people's way either. But definitely don't be placing obstacles in your own way. And take action on what you know to do now. It doesn't have to make any sense. It doesn't have to go with anything else. Just take the action you know to take. And if you do that, and you're consistent, and you're thankful, and you're grateful for the things you believed you received, you will have them. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.